Hi folks, very warm welcome to you all. James here once again, and you join me under the relative shelter of a lovely big holly tree. I'm just out doing a little bit of deadwood collecting, and this is just for a bit of firewood for myself. On this, I'm actually on a strip of woodland. It's like a woodland belt surrounding fields, and the surrounding property is quite substantial, and I've worked for the owners years ago actually, and I've always kept in touch and have made sure that they're happy for me to come in and collect a bit of wood now and again. And I don't get a lot, and it's not really big stuff, but just any sort of windfall and deadwood that happens, and with the strong winds we've had recently there's been quite a bit, so there's all sorts of things. A lot of it is elderberry, there's a little bit of ash and some hawthorn, but yeah, it's just enough to top up the firewood reserves. As I say, I don't rely on firewood, so I just get a bit now and again, and I do love to come out here. I've been coming to this spot for years and years and years, and with my father actually we started coming here doing exactly the same thing, and so I just really enjoy it. Yes, it's not a particularly pleasant day. Had a bit of sunshine this morning, but it is reverted to mainly squally showers and very strong winds. So I'm hoping this little sheltered spot will be pleasant enough for a little bit of a smoke break and my chat to you people. So yes, not a great deal to report. Since we last saw each other, I had a nice little trip out to an antique centre with Phil and Tree, and gosh, that's a couple of weeks back now, I believe. And as I say, it was a fairly brief meet-up, but we had a bit of a peruse, and as usual, Tree did find a couple of pipes, and yeah, we had some rather nice things to see. Some you do see pipe cabinets, nice old oak cabinets in there, quite pricey, but nonetheless at some point I will treat myself, I think. But for the time being, yeah, just happy to peruse and spend a bit of time with Phil and Tree, so that was very pleasant. Today I've got my little Dr. Plum, which is a battered little pipe which is partly burnt out in the base of the bowl. I did a sort of a basic resto video a little while back, and I used this pipe as just as an easy thing to. It's one I picked up for a couple of quid from I think that was a car boot actually, and I'd got it in a drawer somewhere awaiting some attention, so I'll bring it out occasionally. It's good for just when you're out and about, knocking about, doing jobs, so it still smokes really well. I could do all sorts with it. I could repair it, and there's ways of building up the base so the draft hole is not too far away, but it's I haven't really bothered with it too much, but it's fine just for knocking about. So today I am smoking some Gareth Hogarth dark flake, but with a bit of I think it's mellow Virginia or some sort of a Virginia mix blended in with it, just to I suppose make it a slightly easier sort of daytime blend. The dark flake on its own, I find it quite powerful, and I like to smoke that in the evenings after a good meal. But yeah, I found if I just add a little bit of a basic Virginia blend in with it, it just smooths it out a little bit, and I guess really just calms the nicotine content a little bit, because as I say, it's quite a strong blend for me anyway. So I don't know if any of you people have tried that and found it's quite substantial. So I do treat it with a bit of respect. But yeah, it works well. I've done this with other things as well, and I've actually, it works out quite well because the dark flake, it's quite moist, and the Virginia blend that I've been putting with it, it's a bit on the drier side, so it kind of it works well, and you get it almost helps with the keeping it lit, and yeah, so that works rather nicely. So I'm gradually going over to different blends for this time of year. I don't change a great deal, but I get a couple of I do like the Bob's Chocolate Flake. Not had any of that for a little while, so I should be stocking up on that again. And I'm out of the Jamaican Flake as well, which is one of my favourites, as you know, as well as my usual stocks of Condor and St Bruno. They're all getting a bit low, so I always get a bit concerned when this happens. I don't have a substantial cellar, so I really need to get into the habit of doubling up on purchasing things and putting aside some stuff. A couple of videos I've seen, I think Phil said in his recent one about it that you know, just to he's aiming to get quite a number of years worth of tobacco in the cellar, so I think that's probably, judging by the way things are going, it's probably not a bad idea at all. So need to do a bit more of that. But yeah, that's as I say, I've not really been out and about too much recently. The weather has been a bit hit and miss. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fair weather cyclist, but it is more pleasant when the weather's good. So yes, I'd like to do a few more jaunts out. I've got a couple of places I'd like to do a bit of filming and share with you, so that will hopefully come up. I think we're due some cooler, brighter spells, possibly end of next week, so I'm looking forward to that. At the moment, although it's wet and windy, it has been really mild, and I'm ready for it to be. I like to feel a bit of a chilly edge this time of year, so I'm sure that will come. So just a quick one really today, not a massive amount to say. I hope everybody is well and doing okay. Been enjoying a few videos as and when I can get a chance to sit and watch. Notably the Pith Helmet Matinee, that popped up, and I managed to free up a bit of time the other evening to watch the Pipe Tree edition, and I really enjoyed it. It's great. A splendidly entertaining hour to sit and enjoy a pipe and a cup of tea, and very, very entertaining indeed. So if you haven't already checked those out, I would thoroughly recommend them. I'm slowly working through previous ones, sort of always on the catch up, as you know, so we look forward to that. So yeah, I shall continue working my way through this little bit of woodland here. It's not huge, it runs along the side of a lane actually. You might be able to hear a few cars in the background, but yeah, there's always plenty just to fill up a small trailer, and that will suffice for a little while. I like to use a little, I've got a handy little, it's actually a pull saw, and anybody that does, well, you might have come across this for gardening, or tree surgeons use them a little bit, woodsmen. Very handy. You've got the it's a silky, and you've got the belt mount sheath that keeps that nice and safely packed away. But it's a brilliant little saw for taking out and doing precisely what I'm doing here, really, just for whipping through. I mean, I've cut quite big logs with it actually, and it does cope, and it will go as long as your arm will allow. So if you're doing any of this kind of thing, I'd thoroughly recommend one of those actually. Silky do a range of sort of folding, pruning knives and pull saws and things like that. So I wouldn't be without one now. I've used them for a long time, and it's just the thing. I always used to use a bow saw, but that's somewhat cumbersome if you're just doing fairly sort of small wood. So yeah, that's a handy bit of kit, and I quite often just leave it in the car, because if you're out and about somewhere and you see a bit of wind fallen tree, it's handy to be able to whip out and collect it up. So I will hasten to add that I do that occasionally, and really strictly speaking, you should always have the permission of the landowner, because obviously it's, well, especially in the UK here, it's basically a no-no. Any sort of fallen wood, especially off of a public road, it actually belongs to the sort of the highway agency, I suppose, or the council. So I tend to be very careful. I've never had any real issue with collecting wood here and there, but I come back to where I am now because obviously I speak to the owners, and they're more than happy to allow me to collect a bit. So yeah, just be aware, in the UK really you do need to seek permission to collect wood, firewood. So yes, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pipe, and wish you all very, very well, and I shall yes, until next time, thanks for subscribing, thanks for viewing, and I shall see you again soon. Cheerio for now.